May 5, 1945. Deep in the Austrian Alps, American soldiers crouch behind medieval castle walls. Beside them, German Wehrmacht troops reload their rifles. They exchange ammunition. They share water canteens. They fight as one unit. This is not a mistake. This is not propaganda. This is the only battle in World War II where American and German soldiers fought shoulder to shoulder against a common enemy. 150 fanatical Waffen-SS troops storm the ancient castle gates. Inside, 14 Americans and a handful of Wehrmacht defectors stand between them and some of the most important prisoners in Europe. Former French prime ministers, decorated generals, a world-famous tennis champion, all of them scheduled for execution before the Allies arrive. The war in Europe ends in just 3 days, but first, sworn enemies must become unlikely allies. The unthinkable must happen, and a castle in the mountains must hold. Castle Itter rises from a rocky outcrop in the Austrian Alps like a medieval fortress frozen in time. Thick stone towers pierce the sky. Ancient walls stand firm against the elements. A single narrow road winds up the mountain to its heavy gates. Since 1943, the Nazis have used this remote fortress for a special purpose. Not military prisoners, not common criminals or dissidents. This castle holds the most valuable hostages in all of Europe. Paul Reynaud, the last Prime Minister of France before the Nazi occupation. Édouard Daladier, another former Prime Minister who signed the Munich Agreement. General Maxime Weygand, former Supreme Commander of French forces. Jean Borotra, the world-famous tennis champion. These men represent everything the Nazis despise: democracy, French resistance to German occupation, the old order they tried to destroy. Keeping them alive was meant to be insurance. Now that insurance has completely expired, by May 1945, Nazi Germany is collapsing on every front. Adolf Hitler is dead by his own hand. The Wehrmacht surrenders by the thousands across Europe. But the Waffen-SS does not surrender. The SS never surrenders. Heinrich Himmler has issued his final orders to all SS units throughout the Reich. Kill every important prisoner. Destroy all evidence. Leave nothing for the advancing Allies. The SS units stationed near Castle Itter receive this terrible command. The French prisoners know exactly what is coming. They have watched their guards grow nervous each passing day. They have heard the distant thunder of Allied artillery. Liberation is closer than ever, but so is their scheduled execution. Captain John Lee commands a small reconnaissance unit of the American 12th Armored Division. Just 14 men under his command, a few tanks and armored vehicles. They push through the Austrian mountains as fast as the narrow roads allow. Lee is not looking for castles. He is not looking for prisoners. His mission is finding German units willing to surrender peacefully. The war is almost over. Everyone knows it. Then a German Wehrmacht officer approaches under a white flag of truce. Major Josef Geingel steps forward carefully and deliberately. His hands are empty. His intentions are unclear. But Geingel is not surrendering for himself. He has already turned against everything the Nazi regime represents. For months, he has secretly worked with the Austrian resistance movement. Now he brings impossible and urgent news. There is a castle hidden deep in these mountains. Important French prisoners are held inside. The SS is coming to kill them all within hours. The Wehrmacht guards have fled. The prisoners are completely defenseless. Lee has only 14 men. Geingel has gathered about 10 Wehrmacht soldiers who will fight against their own SS countrymen. Together they have perhaps 24 troops total. The approaching SS force numbers well over 100 hardened troops. They have heavy machine guns and mortars. They are battle-hardened fanatics who would rather die than surrender. What Captain Lee is now considering has never happened in this entire war. American and German soldiers fighting together as allies, against other Germans. It violates every rule of war. But the prisoners will certainly die without immediate help. Lee makes his decision on the spot. They will defend Castle Itter together. Americans and Germans united against the SS. The combined American and German force reaches Castle Itter on the evening of May 4th. The scene inside the castle walls is chaos. The regular SS guards fled hours earlier. The French prisoners have armed themselves with abandoned weapons. Former Prime Minister Reynaud clutches a German rifle he barely knows how to use. Captain Lee takes command immediately. He positions his American soldiers along the most vulnerable sections of the walls. Major Geingel deploys his Wehrmacht soldiers beside them. The French prisoners refuse to hide in the cellars. Paul Reynaud insists on joining the defense. So does tennis champion Jean Borotra, the most athletic man in the castle. They have exactly one tank. One Sherman that Lee positions at the main gate. Its gun can cover the primary approach road, but only the primary approach. The castle has many blind spots. Gangel knows exactly how the SS operates. He explains to Lee how they will attack. Fast and brutal. Overwhelming force. No mercy. They will try to destroy the castle before help arrives. The long night passes slowly. American and German soldiers share cigarettes in the darkness. They do not speak much. They do not need to. Tomorrow they fight together or die together. At dawn on May 5th, the first SS scouts appear in the forest below. Dark shapes moving between trees. The battle for Castle Itter is about to begin. Lee surveys his strange little army. Americans, Germans, French politicians. It is the most unlikely fighting force assembled in the entire war. The SS attack comes with the rising sun. Over 100 troops surge up the mountain road in waves, machine guns blazing, rifles cracking. They expect easy targets and quick victory. Instead, they meet precise and coordinated fire from every castle window. American rifles crack steadily. German machine guns chatter without pause. The SS advance falters. Captain Lee moves between defensive positions. He coordinates fields of fire. He shifts defenders where needed. Beside him, Major Gangel does the same with his German soldiers. 2 commanders, 2 armies, 1 purpose. The SS regroup and attack again with fury. This time they reach the outer walls. Grenades explode in the courtyard. Stone chips fly from walls that have stood for centuries. The Sherman tank at the gate opens fire with devastating effect. Its shells tear through SS positions, but the tank draws every enemy weapon. Bullets and grenades rain down on it. Then a German Panzerfaust rocket slams directly into the Sherman. The explosion rocks the gate. The crew bails out desperately. The castle has lost its heaviest weapon. The SS smell victory. They push harder. They reach the base of the walls. Close combat begins across multiple positions. Former Prime Minister Reynaud fires his rifle until it jams completely. Tennis champion Barotra throws grenades with precision of his famous serve. The French prisoners fight like trained soldiers. An SS sniper positions himself with clear sightlines on the main wall. He targets defenders one by one. Major Gangel sees immediate danger to a French prisoner in the open. The bullet meant for the prisoner hits Major Gangel instead. He falls instantly. The German officer who betrayed his own army dies protecting his former enemies. But the defenders do not break. Gangel's sacrifice strengthens their resolve. American and German soldiers fight even harder side by side. Jean Barotra volunteers for a suicide mission. He will vault the castle walls and run for help. He is 50 years old, but he is still the fastest man they have. The tennis champion scales the wall under fire. He sprints through SS positions. Bullets chase him down the mountain. He does not slow down. Jean Barotra reaches American lines 4 hours later. He has run miles through enemy territory. He finds the 142nd Infantry Regiment advancing through the valley. He gasps out his desperate message. The relief force moves immediately without hesitation. Tanks roar to life. Infantry loads into vehicles. They race toward Castle Itter at maximum speed. Every second counts. Back at the castle, defenders are nearly finished. Ammunition runs dangerously low. Casualties mount steadily. The walls are pockmarked with damage. The SS prepare their final assault. Then the sound of engines reaches the castle. American Sherman tanks appear on the road below. Infantry follows close behind. The 142nd Infantry has arrived in force. The SS see the reinforcements and know the battle is lost. Some flee into the mountain forests. Others drop weapons and surrender. The fanatics who wanted to die get their wish. By noon on May 5, 1945, the Battle of Castle Itter is over. The impossible alliance has won against all odds. Every single French VIP prisoner survives. Paul Reynaud, Edouard Daladier, General Weygand, every hostage saved from certain execution. The cost is 4 defenders dead. Among them lies Major Joseph Gangel, the German officer who chose honor over loyalty, who saved former enemies at the cost of his own life. Captain Lee's 14 Americans suffer several wounded, but no dead. They held an ancient castle against overwhelming odds with help from the most unexpected allies in military history. The Battle of Castle Itter remains unique in all of World War II history. It stands as the only battle where American and German soldiers fought together side by side against a common enemy. Just 3 days after the battle ended, Nazi Germany surrendered unconditionally. The war in Europe was finally over. The French prisoners all returned home as national heroes. Paul Reynaud served in the French government for decades. Jean Barotra received the prestigious Legion of Honor for his courage. Major Joseph Gangel became an honored hero in his native Austria. The grateful town of Wargl named a street after him. A German officer honored forever for fighting against Nazi Germany. Captain John Lee received the Distinguished Service Cross for extraordinary leadership. His impossible decision to trust former enemies saved some of the most important figures in French history. Castle Itter still stands proudly in the Austrian Alps. It serves as a monument to the strangest battle of the war, a reminder that sworn enemies can become trusted allies when humanity demands it. For one remarkable day in May 1945, sworn enemies chose to fight together for something greater. They proved that courage has no nationality, and some righteous causes are worth any alliance.